I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband.
Ooh.
And the list goes on and on and on.
Anyway, before we get there, I want to tell you guys about the Tatum store. I'm still standing. This is one of the coldest shirts we've ever made. They printed this so well. It looks so good. Support Donald Trump there if you like. I don't care if you don't want to. It's up to you. It's your money. 75% off clearance for all other stuff on there. This is not included. TatumStore.com, TatumStore.com. All right, let's talk about Erika Kirk. So, like I said, I'm coming into this blind. I haven't watched anything. I have no idea what she's going to say. We shall see it together. All right, roll the clip.
It seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world. Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They have continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest. We want the best for our country. They don't. This is why Charlie started Turning Point USA in the first place. He didn't trust the radicalized liberal teachers. And this past Saturday, it was a school teacher, of all people, a school teacher, that attempted to change our history for the worst with bullets. And everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me? So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself." And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up, and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you." To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?"
Interesting. I think that's an interesting take because it's true. You talk to these people face to face, they're friends with you. These leftists, I've talked to conservative politicians, and they say this 100 times out of 100, is that they actually get along with people on the left. Like in person. Like they go have drinks, they're cool. They don't have beef like we think they do. We think they're at each other's throat. They're walking down the halls of Congress and they just bumping into each other, ready to squab off. That's not even true. Most of these people are just hanging out and having a good time. But in front of the public, they hate each other. I got to resist this person, and behind the scenes, they get along. It's crazy what they do, y'all. It's about the Skrilla, to be quite honest. All right, there's a couple more clips. Erika clip, let's see the second one.
Shortly thereafter, gunshots rang out and total chaos ensued. And you guys have all seen what happened next because there are 1,000 videos of it. So let's discuss that fact for a second. If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos. And so during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips. They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot. Many of those people have become so desensitized that fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the #1 rule of journalism. And again, ironically enough, the shooter was a teacher. You have these people who are supposed to be teaching our children the future of this country, and he's so unhinged that he is able to teach children by day and then attempt to murder the president of the United States by night. And in his manifesto, he starts by contextualizing himself by saying, I am a citizen of the United States of America. And while we may have big problems with illegal immigration in this country, I have to tell you, we have an even bigger problem when it comes to the systemic indoctrination and radicalization of our own citizens. This is what got my husband killed. This is what has led to 3 legitimate attempts on President Trump's life. And I can speak firsthand to that unbearable toll that this must take on our First Lady. There has never been a president who has faced this many assassination attempts in Americans' entire history. And after each one, the reaction from the far left has been, at best, a shrug, and in some cases, a sick disappointment that the shooter was unsuccessful.
True. Next clip, we got 2 more. Roll
We're
it.
all human beings. And if you can just pause and just take a minute and ask yourself, how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one? That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady. He said that she had the glow of an expected widow. The glow of an expected widow. Just 48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality. And this culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this, truly, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all.
Oh, that last part was deep. That last part is deep. I mean, I just wonder, are we getting this yet? I still think people are desensitized or shocked at Charlie's death. Like, I think people aren't, because they're too busy doing conspiracies and all that stupid stuff instead of realizing that a leftist nut job killed Charlie Kirk. Same type of brain in these people that tried to kill Donald Trump 3 times. Like, I don't know how we haven't gotten it at this point. And what she said is correct. The more you hyper-focus on dehumanizing a person, the easier it is to either watch them be killed or want to see them killed or even kill them yourself. If you frame somebody as bad as Hitler was, he's probably burning in hell right now. When you compare another person to a person like that, who we see historically did some of the most horrible things that any leader could ever do, and you make Trump into that guy, who wouldn't want to see him get killed? Who wouldn't want to see him dead? He deserves to die if he's going to kill millions of people. The only problem is it's all bull crap. We got one more clip from Erika, and then we're out. Roll it.
Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. Ooh. And the list goes on and on and on. There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country. The most unthinkable tragedies have now become commonplace in our daily headlines, and yet the media finds a way to conveniently explain away violence. This is what we're up against. This is what we're up against. What is happening right now is something none of us can afford to ignore. The evil forces working to divide us, to distract us, and to pull us apart has never been stronger. This is a moment for Americans to come together and decide what kind of country we are going to be before we lose our country altogether. In Romans chapter 12, verse 21, it says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." And this is why my husband created Turning Point USA, so we could have civil discourse and debate and open dialogue, because when we stop talking to each other, bad things happen. I am choosing to fight for America, for my children, for your children, and for our humanity, because we all need to do our part. And by the grace of God, we will succeed, and America will remain what she was always called to be, a shining city on a hill, a light to the world. So let me give you a perfect example of how it's done. My husband did it best and left us the blueprint on how to have uncomfortable conversations with those who disagree. Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
Drop the mic. Now I see why they hate her. They hate her because it's a reflection of how they are as people, right? When you see somebody that's beautiful, poised, intelligent, articulating her words properly, articulate is the word. You see somebody who's being able to step up and lead an organization from Charlie Kirk, who was, a once-in-a-lifetime person. They hate it because they look in the mirror and they ain't sugar honey iced tea. They haven't built nothing. They're not going to build anything. They have no integrity. They have no relationship with God. They will fall apart into pieces and never to be seen again if they were faced with the same adversity as Erika Kirk. And they know it, and they see it in the mirror every day, and they hate themselves because of it. Because they had a beautiful family. They looked really good to the public, and people know their family ain't worth a darn. They know they and their husband and husband and wife arguing every day. They hate each other. The husband ain't even telling the wife what secrets he's holding. Homeboy finna build something without you. Homegirl building without you. And you mad because Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk was like this. That's all I'm saying. I see it. Because I'm listening to this young woman talk and I'm inspired by what Erika says. I see the genuineness in her eyes and her heart. I've talked to her on the phone before after Charlie has died. The consistency of her character and personality is the only reason why I'm standing up as hard as I am. Because at the end of the day, I don't run Turning Point USA. Charlie ain't my husband. Erika ain't my wife. I don't have to give a F about none of these people. But what's the right thing to do? The right thing is that God has put it on my heart when Charlie got killed to do something for his family. And those of you who helped in the mission, we gave their family $450,000, almost $500,000. Because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Because I treat people the way I want to be treated. If a person said they were my friend and that they stood by me and they all on TV and all on my platform, if I were to die, I would hope that the first thing they think about is my family. Not my platform, but my family. All right. God, you put Charlie back on the screen. Hey, y'all slow down for a minute and perceptualize that young man got killed, assassinated in cold blood. He was just a 30-something-year-old man. Had his whole life ahead of him. He was killed. I know with the movies and people are desensitized to violence. Charlie Kirk is that young man right there that you see on the camera. He's never coming back. He did not deserve what happened to him. in my opinion. God saw differently. God has a plan for his life. And he in heaven having a good time while y'all down here arguing. But I felt like as good of a person he was, he did not deserve for a coward to kill him and can't even face him man to man. He did not deserve to have to leave his family behind in the natural sense. Every man that's married know this out of their heart, is that my being, who I am, what I stand for is to protect my wife more than my own life. And to be robbed of that opportunity where he can't protect Erika anymore is unfair to him. Kids deserve to have a good man as a father, which Charlie was. They're robbed of it. And the thanks that he get, put him on the screen. The thanks that Charlie Kirk get from all of that sacrifice, all of his teenage years, or his adult, his teenage years, his adult teenage years, all of his 20s, into his 30s, standing up for truth, traveling every day, trying to change the country. What thanks did he get? Conspiracies. What thanks does Charlie Kirk get? Bashing his wife when he gone. What thanks does Charlie Kirk get? Saying that what he died for should be tore apart. He died for Turning Point USA. And it should be torn apart and thrown away. This is what y'all did. This is how y'all, I want every single person, y'all ain't gonna see it, but I want you to share it with somebody that's stupid. I want you to look at Charlie's face and realize you are hoping for the downfall of his wife. You betrayed him. You are hoping for the lifestyle of parentlessness in his children. You want Erika to fail. You want his kids to not have a mom. You're trying to get her killed and assassinated. You're asking questions for no effing reason. And this is what you do. You're doing that to him. I could go on for 100 hours about this. You betrayed Charlie Kirk. Just look in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. I would never in my life do this to my friend's wife. I don't care if she had see-through pants on. The man's wife is off limits, bruh. He can't defend her. She off limits. You know, the funny story about, I know we got to wrap here, but the story of Noah when he was drunk and naked and his sons, I think maybe one of his sons covered him. And I always think about that, is that when you love somebody and you stand by somebody, you cover them, right? When they making mistakes, you don't throw them out to the wolves. You cover them. You support them. You encourage them. You help them become better. You don't throw them away. So if my friend's wife is struggling or something is going wrong, my obligation is to help her do better. My obligation is while she's struggling, I cover her. That's what men do. I'm willing to protect his widow. You coward mother, you know what?